Well, hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Sweeter After Difficulty podcast. I am Randy Highsmith. So stoked that you're here with us. We have an amazing show today and a new guest for you to meet. So, with me, as always, you know him, you love him, the Quote Master General himself, Jordan Lopez, is with us. Jordan, how you doing?
Hey, Randy, doing good. Well,
And for those and for those of you who don't know our next guest, this is the lovely Linda. Linda, say hello.
Hello, lovely Linda. That's so nice.
Yeah, and you can see Linda wore a special hat for her appearance on the show today, which, if it's any indication of where the conversation is going to go, I am super excited about this. So, if you have not already, though, take a second, like and subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it out if you can. It really helps with our algorithms, but I don't like to kick that horse too much. Just do the thing if you will. And to get this show started, I'm going to kick it over to the Quote Master General himself, Jordan Lopez, to get us started. Jordan, what do we got today?
sure. Yeah. So today's the quote is the wound is the place where the light enters you. It's by Rumi.
The wound is the place where the light enters you.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of a philosophical quote today. But a cool one. And I think it's fertile ground for excellent conversation. So let's read
Yeah.
that one more time, and then we're going to dive right into it.
Okay. It's the wound is the place where the light enters you.
Yeah, where the light enters you. Okay. So first question, the icebreaker, easy one here. Do you agree with that?
It's oddly specific, right? Not many wounds are like a very specific spot. Like emotional wounds are not like, oh, my shoulder is the emotional wound today. Like, I don't know. Like it's life is full of ups and downs, right? And injuries and both physical and mental, emotional, and everything else kind of in between. So maybe it's an individual that kind of helps that light get inside of you. I guess I don't know. It's very woo woo to me, and
Okay.
which is not a bad thing, right? But it's a
Yeah. No, that's legit. Linda, what do you think?
Um, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I agree with it. Um, and the reason I do is I think that through wounds and through
mhm,
pain, suffering, even trauma, you grow,
yeah,
and you grow in a way where um you can see yourself change, a
mm,
new light of
mm,
you comes out. And also you see the light in other people.
mhm,
um and I think that we're all going through life, all of us, through this journey, this pilgrimage, and we're all going to suffer some sort of scarring, damage. And either we take it and we become better with it and embrace it,
mhm.
and and grow and become better people, or we just become curmudgeons.
Mhm.
Curmudgeon's such a
It's
great word.
interesting. It's like it reminds me like what's that quote? Like hurt people, right? And it's like a really kind of like the counter to that kind of thing. Like hurt people
So,
hurt.
okay. Yeah. No, I like that idea and I like the concept of it. So
Mhm,
let's unpack it a little bit more, right? So,
mhm.
um what do you think of immediately, or do you have any pictures that immediately pop up in your head when you hear the word wound?
Wound.
Yeah.
Usually physical, I would say, not emotional.
But what are the characteristics of a wound?
Like something that's hard to recover from. Like an injury versus a wound. I think of a wound like a life threatening kind of like a tomahawk slash versus like a bee sting kind of a thing, right? Like it's more significant than is an injury. It's like a wound is like a specific like he's wounded versus like oh he's injured, right? It's
Right.
something some weight behind it.
Linda, anything to add to that?
um yeah, I think like wound is both injury, um maybe even insult. Like it's harming
Mhm,
to you in some way. um I could think of a few instances where, like, you get wounded or you get hurt, and it's really painful at the time, like excruciatingly painful, and you're thinking to yourself, whether it be an injury, like, man, I I just don't know if I'm gonna ever feel better. This
Mm.
feels awful. I'm
Ugh,
like,
yeah.
nothing's working. And it's just I can't sleep, blah blah blah. You're going on and you're commiserating, you're telling everybody about it, and then there's this light that you're like,
Mm.
somebody maybe offers something else, an alternative.
Yeah.
Peptides.
Yeah. I think like a lot of the
I got my hat on. No, just kidding.
yeah.
You know what
I
I'm saying? So then,
yeah.
like, you're like, okay, like this is a whole new universe of something that I can maybe look into more further, and you can either take it or you can
Yeah.
throw it out the window.
I
Okay, but
think
hold on. Before we get too far down the road,
Yeah.
right? I want to break this down into swallowable chunks, right? So let's focus on the word wound for a moment.
Yeah.
All right, before we jump into the broader concept.
Yeah.
To me, the word wound carries with it a couple of characteristics. Number one, it carries with it the characteristic of infliction, right? So I think the differentiator between a wound and an injury is that an injury could be purposeful or accidental, but a wound
Yeah. Intent.
carries some sort of intentionality with in
Mhm.
my mind, right?
Yeah.
So like it's something that was inflicted. The other part I think about is it creates an opening. And
Yeah.
I think that's where it ties into the next part of the concept of this quote. Because whether it's emotional wound or a physical wound, in some way or another, it creates a hole or damage to something
Mhm.
that didn't have that before, right?
Yeah.
It carries that sort of a definition.
Yeah. It's also like the perspective too of like, is this my new normal or is this something I can recover from? Right.
Right. There's all kinds of questions that pop up as soon
Yeah.
as you get wounded because, right, you don't know. Like
Yeah.
in some of those instances, it's probably the first time that you've even experienced something like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's right, obviously, hopefully, right. Hopefully you're not constantly being wounded.
Mhm.
But if you are, there's also a set of choices that goes along with that too, right? Like so um I think that under the under the pretense that there's an insinuation of infliction and of an opening or damaging of something. Would you say that you agree with those definitions of the word wound?
I think a wound, like you need a specific solution to it. Like if you're wounded on the battlefield, right? Isn't like, oh, I'll walk it off. Like you need a specific person to come in to save you or to give you the specific triage care to get past that wound in the moment. Kind of thing. Isn't it like you just eat your chicken noodle soup and you'll be fine? Like it's a specific remedy is required to recover from a wound.
Well, but not every wound kills you, right?
No, that's what I mean.
So
Yeah. But it's more than just like a ace bandage and ice it kind of a thing. Like it's more aggressive recovery required.
so the idea of, and I think this is where like if you scratched yourself, unless you were being dramatic, you probably wouldn't describe it as a wound,
Mhm.
right? Unless you're talking, to your significant other and you wanted like some extra attention for it. Like, oh, I got wounded. It's like a scratch, right? But I think when I'm thinking, so Battlefield is a perfect example,
Mhm.
right? Linda's dogs are about to wound each other.
There's a lot of wounding going on, and there's 6 of them.
In the case of a battlefield injury, right? Somebody shoots a bullet at you. That bullet causes a wound, right? It opens up a hole where there wasn't one. And in that instance, that is where we start to talk about the second half of this quote, right? Because if you create a hole where there wasn't one, now light can shine into that place,
Mhm.
right? Whether that's physical or emotional, right? Do you agree with that?
If you're proactive with it, and you look at it in the right way, right? A lot of people get wounded and they don't ever recover from it, right? They become that wounded version
Sure.
of themselves.
Certainly there's a set of choices that
Yeah.
arrive with being wounded,
Getting
right?
broken. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's a set of choices, but in the broader sense, right? Taking the variables out of it. The idea that creates an opportunity for
Mhm.
light to access an area that it previously couldn't. Like most likely you're not going to intentionally cut a hole in yourself just to expose that to the light, right? And maybe you do. Maybe you do. I'm kind of curious about where that could go.
Yeah.
because some of the wounds that we have are self-inflicted, right? And then those carry with them reasons and choices and purposes. Um, but it doesn't say that that wound is going to be where darkness enters because it's already dark.
Yeah.
Right? It says that's where light's going to enter. So obviously in this case, we're talking about metaphorical light, right? We're not talking specifically about sunlight into an actual open wound. So the metaphor being what it is, it could be read as saying the places where you were open, even without your permission, is the place where you got the opportunity to shine light on it and grow and fix things, right? Or make it better or make it stronger. Do you agree with that definition of the quote?
Yeah. I think it's all about perspective, though, right? Because there's so many people in this world who get injured by something, and that becomes their new normal, and then they're permanently limping around with either a physical or emotional scar that they never get past.
Sure. But that's a choice, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Is that, yeah, there are all kinds of mindsets that we can choose to adopt when we get wounded.
Mhm.
But in terms of the ability that it provides, or the opportunity maybe is the right word, that it provides for that kind of growth that Linda was alluding to.
Yeah.
If you have that choice while that area is exposed, now you have light on it. You get to choose what you want to do with that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the basis. That's the foundational of it. Everything else that you're talking about, 100%, right? Because you build on that. So maybe the conversation really is about what is it that makes us make those choices, right? The right or the wrong choice, or the good or the bad choice, or the better or the worst choice, or you know what I'm saying? Like when you get wounded, or if you can think of a time when you've been wounded, what did that opportunity feel like? Because I think personally, I went through this, this car accident when I was 19, this horrible, debilitating injury, and it affected my health. It still affects the way I'm built. My muscles are imbalanced and all those things because of that. And I carried that pain all the way up until the point where I found jujitsu, right? And then jujitsu built muscle on top of old damage and around old damage, and it gave me options and alternatives to just being heavy and being out of shape and dying of those things, eventually slowly dying of those things. That was a choice though, right? Because in the midst of being wounded, I had to choose to go and find something that was going to fix that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so what do you think, in terms of, whatever in your own life or situationally, or just in things you've observed in other people, what is it that, if you have a choice to improve or not improve when something bad happens to you, why do you think it is that people would choose to not improve?
Linda.
First of all, let me take my hat off because I feel like I'm getting cooked. I feel like a turkey.
The
I
little
think
button popped out.
maybe there's a few situations where you make a choice. You're like, A, they may not know how to.
Hmm.
Maybe they're in an environment where they're stuck in a rut, and the examples before them, kind of are not good models. One, not a very good one, but it's still one.
Yeah.
Two, some people like the pain. Some people like the pain. Some people like to, I don't know, what's the word? Um, exploit the pain.
I was gonna say, do you think they like the pain, or do you think they get addicted to the attention they get for
I think
being?
it's an addiction to the attention. from whatever it might
Yeah.
be. So I
Like,
think that there's that.
mhm,
And then I think that the other cycle is they get so wrapped up into the misery.
mm,
And one thing that doesn't help is maybe they start drinking, start doing drugs, and now
Sure.
you've gone down this spiral and it's hard to see your way out. So
Which
I
is
think
its own type of wound, right? I mean, like, that's a whole other thing as
uh,
well.
right.
I think
Oh,
though too, it's like I think it has to be a conscious decision all the time. Like you can decide to not be in pain right now, but in 20 minutes when you get the next wave of emotion blows over you and you're ugly crying, like you have to decide again to be like, okay, I'm orienting this direction. Yes, this sucks in the moment, but I'll get through this one and I'll go outside and go for a walk and feel better about myself and what you're doing and like kind of get over that moment. Like,
Yeah, because and I think you're kind of alluding to is the idea that maybe sometimes we don't choose a solution because there's no instant gratification to that solution,
yeah. Well,
right?
a solution that takes 6 months. Like
Yeah,
we're
right,
heading that
right.
direction. This is day one.
right.
Or maybe if it takes, what, I mean, how long I've been doing jujitsu now is 7 or 8 years,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it takes that long before you start to really see a difference in your life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start going to jujitsu and then 6 months down the road, I was like, "I'm cured."
Yeah.
Right? It was like years and years and
Yep.
years of, nonstop relentless training around those issues.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that I think drugs and alcohol is an interesting one because I think in some ways people are choosing that because as a patch, right, to try to
Yeah.
to overcome the pain or to numb it or dull it for a time, right, or
Mm,
for as long as they think they need, and then that gets to be the
yeah.
way that they cope with it going forward, you
Well,
know?
well, look at the medical system, right? The whole medical system now is based upon people about your pain management. Like
Right.
on this chart,
Right,
where's your smiley face at? Right? And people
right.
Yeah,
and
right?
and doctors are
Here, I
paid.
got you something.
Yeah, doctors are paid off you not feeling pain. Like we are so pain avoidant as a society now that people's pay is based upon it. And so
Right.
you wonder why half the population, well, not half, but whatever that number is addicted to opiates. You're like, well, yeah, because we just give them to people for free because we don't want you to feel anything. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and it's
Absolutely. Like
sad.
we don't want to feel. We just
Yeah,
want to feel good. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We just want to feel good. We don't want to go through the pain. And but what like it gets to that end of that quote is but there's light.
yeah,
And if you've been through enough and yet you're old enough like myself, old, and you realize that all your mistakes and all the things you've done and all the wounds, um, they make you the character that you are.
yeah,
And that's the light that hopefully shines through in your character.
yeah. And also too, there's self-inflicted wounds, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
Sure.
there's
Sure.
there's stuff you can do to yourself to cause yourself pain, lifetime of pain. Like
Yeah.
ruining multiple people's lives and relationships because of something stupid you do, and you're like, well, now I got to deal with this for the rest of my life. Like, and that pain will always be there. You can wound other people with your pain, and
Yeah. And I think that's exactly right. Right? Like I think you're both describing it exactly right. So let's talk about the light then.
Mhm.
In not and we don't even have to not in the context of the quote even. Why is light mentioned here? What are the characteristics of light? Why is it important?
I think it's exposing, maybe exposing to what you need to see versus just living in dark. And
Yeah.
what's that old saying? Like light's the best antiseptic, or something like that. Sunlight's the best antiseptic, or something like that, right? And it's
Yeah.
just revealing. You can't really correct something if you can't see what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have anything to add to that, Linda? I
No,
wanna
I
see.
just think like, I don't know who said it, this quote. But I think a lot of the times like people refer when I go there, biblical. So he said, and let there be light.
Mhm.
So then there's this concept of night, dark, right?
Mhm.
This darkness, this this overwhelming maybe shadows of darkness, and now you come into a light. So your wound may be darkness, but then there is light exposed in your journey of pain or wound.
I think it's
So
accountability too, right? Lightness provides accountability.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you're responsible for it.
100%.
right. It's wide open and everybody can see it, right?
Yeah.
Ostensibly. Um, yeah, that's fascinating. Because I think of it exactly that way too, right? Like now I can see something I couldn't see before. And in the case of a wound, we did a show, I don't know, a few episodes back, and the quote was about how the strongest people are strewn with scars, right? Because the aftermath of a wound is a scar.
Right.
Um, and sometimes those scars are ugly, and sometimes they're even painful, and sometimes they're a reminder of how you got wounded.
Mhm.
Um, you know, but down the road, eventually, all of those things equal one thing, right? And that's experience.
Hmm.
Having been wounded, having gone through that thing, whatever it was, and experiencing the opening and light shining in and everything just being exposed,
Hmm.
it gives you information that informs on the experience, right? And so now next time you see, your kid running at you going, "Look at this new steak knife, Dad," right? Like you stop him before the blade gets into you, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever caused the wound. My child never stabbed me, although he did once cut me with a mechanical pencil somehow. Kids are My kids are wrestlers. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It was crazy.
The
It was crazy.
hijinks over there.
Yeah, you've seen my boys. They don't. It's no kind of playing results in us walking away unscathed.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, uh, the light has a revealing quality to it. Um, it has a healing quality to it, and I think Linda, one of the great things about what you said and about the idea of a scar that can be a reminder of something is that if you have that right mindset and you're intentional, you can actually trap the light in the scar, right? And then that scar shines as a light rather than as a cautionary tale or as something that you look back on as a negative. Um, because it had that opportunity to shine the light out,
Yeah.
like
Right.
outward.
Right. 100%.
Um,
What's interesting though is that the quote kind of doesn't end with any kind of finality. There's not like,
that's
and then
right.
you're healed over time. Like
That's right.
it's
That's
just
Yeah.
like
right.
the
It
light
does
comes in. You're like,
There's no
and
guarantees, right?
yeah,
It just says that wound is going to open up and show you something,
yeah.
right? That you won't have seen before. So, is that always a bad thing?
What do you
The
mean?
what? The revealing of light or what?
I mean, any of it. Like, is are there occasions where a wound is a good thing?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I think, um, yeah, there's like emotional wounds and they hurt, they suck, they're extremely, excruciatingly painful, but then something comes out of it that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and
Like
it's
what?
hard to
Like
believe.
what can come out of that?
Ooh, Randy. Okay, I'm gonna get deep. So,
Let's go.
I'll tell you a quick story. My dad passed away a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and you know, I wasn't the person that was a very patient person. I wasn't a person that was. I just wasn't a person that I was like. I didn't feel like at the stage that I'm at now. I can reflect back and go, you were kind of an a-hole. You've done some a-hole things, and I connived and spoke illy and all these other things that, you're just like that's not cool. Like that's not a good thing, good characteristics to
Yeah.
have. And so my dad passes away, and I don't just go through my dad passing away. I go through it. Um, I get fleas. This is fun. Yeah, I get. Listen,
Wait,
it's
what?
a crazy story, dude. Like like I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys are believers, but I'm telling you, you know who from the other side was like trying to is really like
He was
that.
sending the Egyptian plagues your way?
No, he was gonna stick it to me, bro.
Round
He was
two
gonna
next.
stick it to me. So my dad's sick. He's in the hospital. He passes away.
Hmm.
3 weeks later, bury him. It's very traumatic, but I have a wonderful goodbye with my father, which is crazy because he's not lucid with
Hmm.
anyone else.
Yeah.
And this
Hmm.
conversation that I have with him, on his deathbed and his last night alive was everything, this terrible pain that I was, wounded, right? This conversation that I had with my father was like, it was the most amazing conversation that I had
Hmm.
always longed
Mm.
for with him.
Wow.
And it was like the perfect conclusion to our friendship.
Mm.
It was not only father and daughter finale, but friendship goodbye.
Hmm.
And it just ended so perfectly.
Mm.
And it's painful, but the light of, like you said, that knowing that we got to say goodbye and we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
that love um and respect for each other, and like I told him, I said, we've been through a lot, man. We've there were times I hurt you, you hurt me. We were just, it's relationships, right?
Yeah.
But no matter what, we were always good. And he
Mm.
said, yep, we were always good. I said, yep, we're gonna leave like that. We're gonna
Mm.
and you're gonna pass, and then you're gonna go on to uh our father and everything. I'll see you there, buddy. Hopefully I can get my shit together and see you there. But that happened. Someone I buried my father. And then shortly after, like 3 weeks later, um my husband, my husband tells me he's been talking to his ex-wife and he's leaving me. So all
Hmm.
this craziness unfolds, like all this pain just bam, bam, like it's insane. And then I get fleas. It's nuts. I'm covered in like dude, it's bananas. I'm
I
telling you,
still
I am.
don't know how it's such a beautiful story, and thank you so much for sharing that.
And then I get
I have
fleas.
I know, I mean, like, legitimately, I'm sitting over here like, "Oh my gosh, like, what a good story," you know? I have no idea how the fleas tie into this, Linda. I'm losing the connection here.
But listen, because like, so he tells me he's leaving. There's all this trauma's going, and he has 2 kids, and the whole reason I stay in the relationship is for the 2 kids, and
Mm.
I'm heartbroken over my father. I'm heartbroken over the kids. I'm completely broken, like exposed, every feeling, every nerve, everything. I am the rawest human being that I have ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And not only that, now my skin is raw. Like I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm going through this for a good, 3 months. And,
Mm.
but out of it, even though it was painful, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Hmm.
I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it gave me I feel like a better person, a
Hmm.
person that's been blessed with grace to be patient. I trying to be kind. I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So say we all.
my inner a-hole comes out, but I'm trying, I'm really, really trying. And I really take a step back to reflect. And Randy, I'll pull you aside and be like, bro, am I like, and you'll be like, no, no. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I think, that's an example and I think I'm a better person for what
Hmm.
happened.
Yeah.
I miss him. I wish he was still here, but at the same time, I wouldn't be the human being that I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, seriously, thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
an amazing story. I have, my grandparents all died when I was young, and um I like to think of this chapter of my life as the interesting version of me. and I'm really sad that I didn't get to be the interesting version of me while they were still around. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I was a dismissive kid when they were around. I was like, "Oh, you were in World War II? Cool," you know? Now all I wanna do is listen to him talk about World War II.
Right.
You know, like, and I don't I don't get to now, so, but yeah, I totally I can relate to that, the loss, the missing, but also, yeah, just the brightness that like, but now part of that experience will always be part of you going forward,
Yeah.
you know, and that's really a beautiful thing. Um, so is there a bad side of things being exposed?
Well, yeah, there's repercussions, right? Like
Sure.
things that get exposed and there's repercussions to decisions and actions, and you're then forced to deal with it and deal with the fallout. And maybe it's minimal or maybe it's huge.
Well, you might not be forced to deal with it, right? You might run,
Yeah.
right? Like you might just hide from it. You might not deal with it at all.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it speaks a lot about who you are as a person that you were just like, yeah, there's repercussions. Here they come. Like it's time to
Yeah.
fight, you know, whatever. Like,
Put your
of
mouthpiece
course,
in. Yeah.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
that's your mentality. Uh, no, but
Well,
it's, I
the
mean,
funny thing is too is like even like a because I always do it. Like it's the jujitsu stuff, right? It's like
yeah,
making one mistake is not bad. Making compounding mistakes, like 2 or 3 mistakes in a row, is when you get caught. And that's such a thing with life
yeah.
too. You're like, one mistake is okay. Oftentimes you can usually correct and save yourself. But yeah, 2 or 3 mistakes in a row, like back to back to back, and you're in trouble now.
I just interviewed my buddy Austin Chevron. I think that episode played last week, and he was talking about how he had a dream that he climbed a mountain, and he woke up and told his wife, "I'm gonna go climb Mount Hood,"
Mhm.
and she was like, "Okay, you know, you've never walked up a steep hill. You're gonna climb Mount Hood. Like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna do it." And so he started training and he started getting all his stuff together, and he started watching all these people and he started you know, talking to people in forum groups and stuff like that. And what he was most interested in is what kills people when they're mountain climbing,
Yeah.
right? Like the normal thing that everybody would think about, you know, not how cool is it going to feel at the top because there's only a handful of people that can tell you, or you know, whatever. But
Mhm.
and he said overwhelmingly the answer to that was compounding mistakes,
Mhm.
right? It wasn't the problem that you woke up late. It wasn't the problem that you forgot your gloves. It wasn't the problem that you lost the guy in front of you. It was the problem that you woke up late, forgot your gloves, and lost the guy in front of
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
you. Right?
Right.
Like, as soon as you get deep enough, there's no recovery on the mountain. It does not care about you. It will just make you a permanent monument.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's such a perfect analogy for what you were just saying, right? Because we can make that mistake and not learn from it and not even pay attention to the fact that we made a mistake and make the next one before we even know what we did. Right. And if you don't at some point intentionally course correct, if you don't sit yourself down and go, hey, you you cannot afford another mistake or it's going to cost you everything, right? It's going to cost your life maybe.
Right.
Yeah, it's a wild way to look at it, right? It
Mhm.
changes your perspective a little bit. Um but so to twist that a little bit, it exposes things and maybe it exposes something, you know, that we're not proud of. There's consequences we have to deal with, you know. Uh okay. Then fast forward 10 years. Who are you because of those choices that you made between then and 10
Mhm.
years from now?
Yeah.
Right? What did you do about that? You know, how did you handle that? How do you advise people about situations like that going forward? You know, excuse me. Got this head cold everybody got. I'm trying to take me down. Um in the long run, in the long span of life, you could still spin that to be a positive thing, right? Long enough exposure to that light can allow you the clarity to continue to make right choices after a wrong choice.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, and it might cause you to take courses of action that change you as a person, that actually make you a better person that you wouldn't have been if you didn't have that initial
Yeah.
painful wound, even if it was self-inflicted,
Mhm.
right? Um, I mean, you know, I've got all kinds of stuff in the rear view mirror that I wish were not attached to my name. There's all kinds of choices, right? Things you know, that some people know about me, like I mean, whatever. I'm an open book now. I don't really care, but there's things in my past that I'm not proud of, obviously.
Mhm.
And there are people out there that are aware of them, that were affected by them, that have their own scars from them, you know, but I had a choice with that, right? And I always used to tell my boys, if you were driving down a road and you were about 10 miles down it and you discovered that you were on the wrong road, you were headed in the wrong direction, would you wait 10,000 more miles before you turned around? Or would you just turn around immediately, right?
Mhm.
And try to get back on track. I think that I think that's what separates people, right? There's a lot of reasons why you could stay on the wrong road. There's fear involved, there's, insecurity involved. Once you're down that wrong road, sometimes the damage is done, right? And the only thing to do is damage control, But continuing to head down that wrong road, the longer you do, the farther away it's going to be before it's going to be just that much longer of a trek back, right? Back to finding yourself, back to your baseline, and maybe what that means is you're literally driving back to reset and rebuild on a brand new foundation,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
But what an opportunity,
Mm.
right? What a chance to go, this is painful, this hurts, but as a result of that, I'm going to see life different.
Yeah.
There's going to be a different perspective on the other side of that. And if I play my cards right, I can be better because of it. Um, what do you think about that idea?
Yeah. I think it's all about the perspective people take, right? Either you're a victim of your circumstance, or you're proactive in your resolution.
Or you're a victor of your circumstance,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like, definitely. I think it's definitely one of those things where you're like, what can you control? What can't you control? Right. And it's just that whole stoic kind of perspective. Like, I can control my actions. I can control how I respond to things. I was talking to my kids about that tonight when we were driving home. I'm like, I can't control the weather, but I can control the jacket that I grab for the weather. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just realizing that if you're a passenger in a situation, something happens around you or against you and you have no control over it, like, what can you control in your responses to it? And
Right.
if you can control things and you make the wrong decision, like, realize it and adjust and correct and learn from it and help those who you see in the future. Like you said, like, that's a huge example. Like, so many people go through things and then don't use the opportunity to help other people with it. Right. Like,
Right.
and you see other people going through the same situation. You're like, oh, I went through that too. Like, well, you got any good advice? Like, be open to being willing people, being willing to allow people to be helped by you and helped by your experience. Right.
Yeah.
Like, just sharing knowledge in the sport, or sharing knowledge in life, or in marriage, or with kids, or whatever. It's like, going through bad shit can be used to help other people in the future if you're willing to be open about it.
And maybe in a way that you wouldn't have been able to be if you hadn't gone through it.
Exactly.
Right. And I know, so I'll play devil's advocate because there's a way to take what we're talking about and justify bad behavior with it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not at all what I'm saying. It's not to justify bad behavior at all. It's to say that whether you make a good choice or a bad choice, whatever the path is that comes as a result of that, the very next step on the path, you have the choice to turn that around and make the right one.
Mhm.
Right? Like as soon as you realize that it's been done, now you start right? The exposure there gives you an opportunity to go, okay, there's no denying it. I got to either turn around or continue down this path. Um and uh I've stayed on that long path for far too long. The wrong path. I've stayed on that one uh, a long time after I should have turned around. For a lot of different reasons. Stubbornness, shame. Fear, um, laziness. I mean, there have been a slew of bad choices and bad characteristics that I had to overcome in my life, and it all came down to the same thing. It's the work, right? Are you willing to put the work in?
Yeah. I think
Um,
you also have to be humble. Humble in the fact that you're like, okay, yeah, I shit the bed on that one.
Yeah.
So I
crucial.
need to, you know what I mean? And I know it, and I might disappoint myself. I might disappoint others.
Hmm.
Um, my pride's gonna hurt, my ego's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
Six dogs, folks.
Yeah.
Six dogs.
This is my
You
life.
can keep talking, Linda. I think this will get cut out automatically by
Cut all
the
this
audio.
out.
Yeah.
This is my life, Randy. Like this is my life all the
I,
time.
it's funny, Randy. You say that quote. I think of a good quote actually. It says, "Don't hang on to a mistake just because it took you a long time to make it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
is a
great
great
quote.
quote.
How many times have I destroyed my fingers holding on to some stupid grip that I should have
Yeah.
let go of a long time ago, right? I made a mistake, just let go, right? And I
Just
don't do
like
it, and then
why?
I'm taping my fingers.
It's so dumb. Like, why am I holding on to this grip? It is
Yeah.
absolutely useless.
Yeah.
And I'm helping them. I'm helping them smash my face. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite
And I
questions to people when we're rolling. You're like, is this grip right here? Is this helping you do something?
is
Like,
this doing anything
what's
for
it
you?
doing for you?
You know what? I was asking, what's your plan here?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
It's so mean. It's so
Yeah.
mean. What do you have in mind here up here?
All their wheels are like this.
They're like, I don't know. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
I'm gonna
Well,
leave it.
just
I'm
so
gonna
we're
leave
both
it.
on the same page. We both don't know what you're doing. Okay. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure we were.
Yeah.
I had a training partner recently had a closed fist on the bottom. I'm like, what's this fist doing? Like, what are you doing with this? And they're like, I don't know. Like punching. I'm gonna punch you with it. I'm like, all right, well, cool. As long as we know.
Yeah.
Well, just do
I'm
it, damn it.
waiting for you to wrist lock me.
Yeah. Teens to do a good time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Is there anything else that I know it's one of those things that seems like a pretty straightforward thing, but I think there's deep implications. Anything we haven't unpacked with it? We talked a little bit about mindset, and mindset tends to be one of those themes that just runs through this podcast because my mentality is I believe everything is choice. Everything is choice. Um, but in terms of, I know not everybody thinks that way, right? And Chris isn't here, but we've had great conversations about, freedom of choice versus fate, things like that. Do you think there's ever a time when acquiring a wound doesn't shed light?
Well, it could. I think any wound could not shed light. I think it's all perspective, right?
What would be the cause of that? Like, why wouldn't light be able to shine?
Maybe
on
like
it?
not learning your
Or
lesson or not learning the lesson of the situation. Repeating the same mistake
yeah,
multiple times. Yeah.
yeah, going through it with your eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because not learning, right? Like that could be intentional or unintentional too. Like Linda's fleas. I don't know what the lesson is there. Like I don't know if it was just about driving the raw point home or like or
Yeah.
what.
Right, yeah, it was. It was like it was so everything was crushing me, like literally. You know what, Linda, you haven't had enough. Like, let me go ahead and let me throw one more at you. Let me give you some fleas. Let me give you
Yeah.
some fleas. Let's just break you physically, mentally, break you down. I'm like, no, not happening. I'll fix this. I got Arm& Hammer. We'll
Yeah.
sprinkle it everywhere.
Have you considered my servant Linda?
Have I
Yeah.
considered what?
My servant Linda instead of Job.
Dude, I'm for real. Let me tell you, I was living that, bro. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I want to go back to what you were saying about a wound maybe turning negatively.
Yeah.
This recently happened like Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have a high school friend. Um been friend I mean for many, many years. And her brother was a acquaintance friend, but in junior high, he was my first boyfriend.
Hmm.
Well, she sends a text message, "Hey, my brother is in the hospital." And we're like, "Oh my god." Like there's about 5 of us that are all very good friends. And we hear this and we're like, we all know him and we're all like remember like, "Okay, what's going on?" And ended up spending an hour or so on the phone with her um Monday night, and she tells me that her brother, who was a kid, very accomplished, had a good head on his shoulders, was just that charmed person that came out of high school, went into college, got their degree, got married, had a great job working for like HP or something, you know what I mean? Just living his best life. Had 2 kids. Everything's just, unicorns and rainbows for him. And it's just he's got his challenges, here and there in life, but for the most part, come to find out, he takes his dad's death. His dad dies probably 4 years ago, and he takes it very hard. Um, and he starts drinking to numb the pain, right? And
Yeah.
he now he died from
Mm.
alcohol, from what is it, cirrhosis?
Yeah,
And
Oh.
liver.
like everything crumbled on him. His dad passed away. He gets into a fight with his sister over property. Um, his wife now wants a divorce. Um, and he's living on the couch, sleeping on the couch. He has an accident at work.
Oh.
And like when you're in big companies, first thing they want, you got to go pee. He's like,
Right.
"No, not peeing. Not doing it." Because it's alcohol related, right?
Yeah.
He's living in his truck. He's getting kicked out of his everybody's house. He's going like it just hearing somebody who was so put together and the- an event, a very hard event, completely devastates you, levels you to the ground
Yeah.
to the point of death. Like
I
that's an
I think though
example of the other side.
I think though, and and for me, I've lost grandparents, right? I've lost all 4 of my grandparents. I do not know how I'll be when my dad dies. Like, it's one of those things I can't quantify it. It's almost like losing a
Yeah.
child. And I don't know how
Yeah.
it'd be if I lost one of my kids. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a level of sympathy for people like that who have never really felt that level of grief, and then they lose somebody like that. It's that important. Like I've traveled around a lot through mission trips and like that when I was in college, right? You go to Africa or you go to South America, especially Africa, and you see these people who are like born in poverty and will die in poverty, and their grandkids will die in poverty. And they know nothing else than that. And then they all they have is loss, and all they have is pain, and all they have is like discomfort and suffering. And so when somebody dies in that situation, like life is pain to them anyway. So what does it really matter, right? But people who've never really experienced a true level of loss or true level of suffering, like I don't know. I don't know how it'd be if my dad dies. Like, I fear to think about what that would be like, honestly. And I don't know, man. Like, different people handle different grief differently, and I can't imagine what that will be like. And then that's the hard thing is like people have that fear. Like their fear is losing their family, and you know it's going to happen. Like you're going to experience that pain one day, and you can't stop it. And so it's just like the fear of the known, not the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
anticipation
mean,
of
it's
Yeah.
being
inevitable. We
Yeah.
all know that we are all born and we're
Yeah.
going to die.
Especially if
And
your parents are
it's
older
going to
too. Like they're
happen. And
closer to death than not. Like if your parents are
yeah,
in their 60s, it doesn't matter. If they're in their late 80s, you're like, this is coming. And there's nothing I can do to stop it.
yeah, no,
yeah. Yeah. So if we think about that as being a wound,
Mhm.
right, which it certainly can be, if you feel like a part of you has been ripped out or torn open, then you're still faced with the same set of choices, right? Like you're still uh, the degree of the pain or the degree of the wound, and if it doesn't kill you, right? If you survive, no matter what it is, you still have the same set of choices, right?
Mhm.
But some wounds, it's a lot harder to make a different choice when you're
Mhm.
so overwhelmed with whatever the wound is, right?
yeah,
Especially if it's an emotional one.
right.
Because you can get stitches, you can get a shot, you can put a band-aid on it, you can start to fix a physical wound. But the emotional wounds, most of the time, you can't even see how far and wide they reach, right?
Right.
Until like 20 years later, when you flash out at somebody and you're like, "What did I just get mad about that for?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a rough situation. But again, I think that as a rule, what we tend to do is when we start thinking about those things that we're afraid of, we try to put them out of our mind, or like bury them back somewhere deep where we don't have to think about them until it's time to face them. And then someone comes knocking, right, and you're not ready for it, you're not expecting it. It is harder to deal with. Um, I think like Linda, maybe you can answer this, right? I assume it wasn't just a quick like your dad was doing okay and then one weekend he just wasn't doing okay, right? There was probably a little bit of a lead up to it.
There, so he was one of the initial COVID that got
Hmm.
COVID, the long hauler. And so he was
Hmm.
kind of struggling and struggling. But when I had seen him in December, I was like, I told my son, I'm like, listen, we need to start getting our mind right that grandpa might not be around. And,
Hmm.
he wasn't like, and he was a very active person playing tennis, pickleball, running, biking. He was like to complete dead stop, like shuffling his feet
Yeah.
through the house. And, you're like, man, like this is a, this is a totally different person right here. This totally different dad that I'm seeing. So it wasn't a shock, but we're going to get into it. Hold on. Hold on, Randy.
Yeah.
So what
Hmm.
happens is they tell my dad that you need to come in quickly because you have a hernia and we need to do surgery.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
Listen, you're not going to die of a hernia, man. So my dad goes because he's listening to the doctor, and week later he's dead because he's not recovering from the hernia surgery because he had to have a hernia surgery, right?
Hmm.
So
Right. And
no,
he
I
had to
mean
have a shot
it
to have the
wasn't like
surgery.
it wasn't shocking, but it was like the way it was like, are you? This is it. This is how you gonna do it? Okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
a hernia
Yeah.
surgery. So yeah,
Yeah. And so there's anger, right? There's anger with the outcome there. I suppose what I was thinking more just was that conversation you had with your kid is what I'm talking about, right? It's the
mm,
kind of thing people don't do. They don't go, "Hey, look, this is going to happen. We need to get our heads right about this." Right?
yeah,
And maybe they do, maybe they don't, but whatever that is. Um I think that you're much more prepared and much in a much more solid place if you are trying to be prepared as you can
Yeah.
for the aftermath or the healing or even for when the wound arrives.
right.
Well, it's being
You have
open.
no way of knowing how deeply it's going to cut,
Yeah. And
right?
I think it's also the being
Yeah.
open to finding people who have gone through that experience and being willing to listen to them and be vulnerable enough to ask questions, right? Because that's the hard part of it, is being
Yeah.
vulnerable enough to be like, hey man, I'm going through this. You got any advice? And they'd be willing to listen to it or not listen to it. It's on you. But
Yeah.
you gotta be vulnerable enough. And I think I mentioned this before, like the older I get, I feel like the more open I am to people and the more vulnerable I am to people who I care about. Right. I'm not gonna go to strangers and be like, this is my
Sure.
problem. But like if
Sure.
you're a friend of mine, like ask me anything, I'll tell you. Like there's no, I don't know, life's too short to keep
Yeah.
secrets from people who you love.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
That was a heavy one. Linda, this is your first time on the show. Any parting thoughts as we put a ribbon on this thing?
Any parting thoughts? I like that you really dug through this and offer different scenarios, this side, opinion, a little bit of a different spin on a perspective of maybe the dark, the light. Um, I really want to say that I agree with Jordan. As I get older, the light is now, I like those wounds, let them shine out, and I try to see
Mm.
the light in others, and the love. And even when I maybe I don't like them or they've irritated me, I try to find the patience and the love and the grace within me to love them back, because we're all on our own pilgrimage, our own journey, and let's just try to be the best we can and put everything else aside and try to be a better light. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to say this, Randy. I love the song, This Little Light of Mine, Let It Shine. I really,
Yeah.
I want it played at my funeral, because that's really what I see and I feel like everyone should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Jordan, any parting thoughts?
I don't know. I think I like the idea of compounding mistakes kind of a thing and trying to catch it early and trying to realize learning the early mistakes, because I don't know, either you learn now or you learn later, and learning later oftentimes sucks a lot more than learning now. So
100%.
Yeah, it does.
100%. Oh, woof. Well, this has been an amazing conversation.
hang on, wait.
And,
Hey, Linda, tell us
you
your
know,
jujitsu background.
Oh,
'Cause so I love Linda. I've known Linda for a long time, and Linda's probably one of my favorite roles when, because it's always just a honey badger just going after it the entire time, and it's just so much fun. So what's your rank?
We've started referring to her as the flying squirrel.
So
She's the flying squirrel.
I'm a
in the
brown
school.
belt. I'm a brown belt.
Yeah.
But I too, and you know what's funny, when you were saying, why do you keep making this mistake? Let me tell you, rolling with Jordan, I continually made the same stupid mistake. I don't do it anymore. I want you to know, Jordan, I don't do it.
Good.
And I always, I don't know if you remember, but I always used to put my hand on your, like, when I was trying to pass guard, I put my hand around your hip and like kind of cup, and then you would pull my arm down like this, and then I was like in a stupid like, what is it, omoplata, or you would like arm bar me, or you would crank it the other way, and I'm like, and you would just laugh. You're like, yeah, you do it every, like, it would just
Classic.
slip down,
Classic
slip
Jordan.
down. Yeah. I just put my hand there, boom, every time, boom, boom, every time. Never learn, never learning from the mistake. But now I do it because he was like, he felt sorry for me, Randy. He's like, hey, stupid. Take your hand and put it in the armpit right there, and you keep me from coming up, and you don't have to put it in the hip. So I do that now.
Yeah.
Stick it right there, right in there,
Good.
right in the
So
armpit.
Learned your lesson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
Then I get that under the hook.
Yeah.
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 No, it's,
How
you
many-
know,
how
brown
many-
belt's
how many-
great. I love it.
How many stripes, Linda?
Huh?
How many stripes you got?
0. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I told, 0. 0.
Okay,
I
good.
have
Okay.
told, my professors, oh yeah, in as purple belt and brown belt, don't put any stripes on my belt. And the
Yeah,
reason
good.
being is when I go to tournament or someone comes to visit or whatever, I want no assumptions of what
Yeah.
level of shitty I am or what level of good I am. You cannot make any conclusions.
Yeah.
So, I feel like stripes kind of indicate like, oh, she should be good. She should be no, it's gonna be it's a mystery. Let's just have fun. Let's
Yeah.
find out. Let's see how crappy it is today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is
Yeah.
like,
How long have you
yeah,
been doing jujitsu?
yeah.
Tell us your story. How long have you been doing jujitsu?
I've been doing jujitsu for 9 years. I started when I was 41. I am 52 now. Um,
Nice.
and I love it. I fell in love with it as a white belt. I tattooed it on my arm.
Hmm.
I now love it for different reasons. I used to just love to win.
Mm.
Um, now I love it for a lot of many reasons. One, staying in physical condition, being 52, not on any medications, nothing's wrong other than like I have a separation in my shoulder, but that's from jujitsu, but nothing
Hmm.
medically is wrong with me. Um,
Yeah.
so one there. Two, I love teaching jujitsu. I love it, especially with the kids. It's my number one passion.
Yes.
I feel so much joy being with them. And I don't see them as kids. I see them as just little guys that just want to absorb as much as they can and learn. And they're getting so much better younger. Um, and
Mm.
the other reason
Yeah.
is I still love the trickery. I love
Yes.
the trickery of it, the illusion of one thing to another, um, the dynamic of it. Yeah, I love it, all of it. I love that I have friends that are all different. I have young friends. I have friends that are in their 20s. I have friends that are older than me, AARP. And it's just a
Hmm.
gamut of just different people I get to meet and spend time with. And I, you know what else I love? I love that we don't have the same perspective. How boring would it
Yeah.
be in
Yeah.
life if we all had the I love that you don't think the way I do. I love that your move doesn't work for me. But my move works for me and I can show you something else, you know? Just a
Yeah.
variation.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. And that's the
That's
thing
my
is too, is
jujitsu
like,
journey.
and
Fantastic.
it's like, the funny thing is, it's like, so we have two brown belts and a black belt here. Like that's all upper belts, right? And it's so funny because you're like, oh, yeah, I have a brown belt. You're like, don't hide the lead, Linda. Like, getting a brown belt in jujitsu is very difficult, and it's very rarefied air, right? And then that once you get your brown belt, you're gonna get your black belt, right? Because you know what it takes to get to that point now, and all you need to do is just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll
Yeah.
get it. Especially as a woman, especially as a 6'2", 280
Right.
pound woman, Linda. Like, no, like, small,
Full of
agile,
muscle, right?
athletic, like,
Yeah.
all these, yeah, yeah. But that's what it is, though. It's like, it's
And
I love
every
it. I love jiu-jitsu because you can do different body types, different sizes, 5'2", 115 pounds to 6'3", 220. Like, we all do the same sport. We all love the same sport. And
yeah.
achieving the level of a brown belt
And the
is an
puzzle
incredible
constantly
achievement no matter who you
changes.
are.
The puzzle is
Yeah.
always changing. Like
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
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 I've explained it to white belts like, they'll come in like new females, they'll be like, they think they're gonna get it right away. And you're like, yeah, you're athletic, I get it. And you're
Mm.
strong, yes. But it's not gonna come instantly. It's just time on the mat. And like you said, you're a brown belt. You're gonna
Yeah.
it's just you're in. Like you're all the way in. It's gonna happen. I'm in no rush for it. I
Yeah.
love all of it. So I don't really, I don't know speed to me. I just let me enjoy it and let me teach.
Yeah. Mhm. It's the journey,
Well, you
right?
are
You
a
want to
fun
do it. You want
role
to do it
on
for
the
another 20
mat for
years.
sure.
So why not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's always an opportunity for me not to use muscle, to try to use technique, and
Yeah.
then you go crazy, and it's, it's such a different kind of challenge, right? A
Yeah.
different body type and a different mentality, and yeah, always super fun. And
So
of course, it's always
Jordan,
lovely to see you when I come into the
yeah, it's
gym.
always lovely to see you. So, you know,
Yeah.
Jordan, next time you see Randy, I want you to know, I want you to A, pay him back for me. So, true story. He's like, I'm not going to use my strength with you, Linda. I'm not. Oh, okay, Randy, let's do
When
it.
he picks you up.
So I go north south, right? Because I love north south, right? It's my favorite. Not on this guy though, because he legit picks me up. I'm a flying squirrel, launches me. Woo! I land on Jimmy and Chris. Okay. And I look over, I'm like, what happened to the strength thing, bro? Oh, I'm sorry, Linda. I was like,
Yeah.
flying squirrel right here. Launch me, bro. Launch me. Get him back.
That was not strength. That was technique.
Yeah.
You
Deal,
shifted
Linda.
your weight the wrong way.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
Randy's that strong. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
You need to
Jordan.
try
Get him back.
Oh, it's so good.
It threw me.
Yeah, I can just chuck Linda whenever I feel like it on a whim.
Yeah.
He's that strong. He is.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's button this thing up. Amazing topic, amazing conversation. And I always like to just end with a note of gratitude. Jordan, Linda, thank you so much for your openness and your perspectives. Thank you for helping me see other sides of this quote and other sides of the concept, and just for adding to my understanding of this crazy journey through life. I'm so grateful and so appreciative. And for everybody out there that's listening, I hope that you got just as much out of this as I did. These conversations are so enriching. They're so fun. They happen every Friday at noon Pacific on Spotify and Rumble. So again, if you could please just take a second, subscribe to our channel, like the video, leave a comment, follow us, share it, whatever you need to do. But mostly just keep coming. We love having your perspective. We love having your ear, and we love having these conversations. So until next week, this has been Sweeter After Difficulty. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.